Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Co-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on January 3rd, 2023, and notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. Take roll call. Councilwoman Kinney.
Here.
Mayor Buckle-Fusco.
Here.
Councilman Rondinero.
Here.
Councilman Levis.
Here.
Councilman Brennan's absent.
We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops, first responders, and their families. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start off with a workshop of the council. I have a few things that I'd like to go over very briefly. We've been in office for 16 days, and it feels like 160 days to me. But a lot has been done in that short period of time. Mr. Kane and I have been, and others have been meeting with numbers of different people. We met with our auditor, our engineer, redevelopment council. So we're still, in the beginning of taking over and doing a transition. So I just wanted to let the council know that that's what's happening. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. On another topic, just wanted to let you know, and I don't think you guys got a letter, but we did get a letter from a winery called Belmar Family Winery, and this is really more for informational purposes for everyone and the council. They apparently have received a license for a new winery outlet and sales room, which will be located within the F Street Social Club on, was it 1002 Main Street, Belmar. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. There's really nothing the council needs to do for that, but it's really just a point of information so everyone knows what's going on. Other than that, I don't really have anything else in terms of reports. Does anyone have a question? Anything else you want to bring up, discuss? Okay, at this point, I'm just going to let everyone know. We're going to have an amended agenda tonight. There will be a closed session at the end of the meeting, and there will be nothing following that session. And I believe Mr. McGill will be making that resolution at the proper time.
I do have a resolution for that, Mayor. I'll read that at the end, and it's basically in reference to the order to show cause that we received today. So it's an emergent matter. I don't think it's going to be emergent for the borough, but nonetheless, I need to discuss it with the council.
Okay. April, are there any petitions?
No, I did not receive any.
Approval of minutes?
I'm going to do two different ones. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 29, 2022 meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Now, there's no need to abstain just because you weren't there. I know that's something that everybody does, but that'll leave us with one vote. So
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckle-Fusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondinero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
And then can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 2nd, 2023 meeting?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckle-Fusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondinero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay, next, reports of council. Even though the agenda says none, there are a few reports. So I don't know who we start with. But we start with Councilwoman Kinney.
You want to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Recreation meeting last week. We went over a couple things that had happened in the latter half of December into January. There was a senior luncheon sponsored by the Wellington House and a senior assisted living place, and I believe the other sponsor was Serenity by the Sea. And they sold it out, and they're going to have another one for February. It's going to be a Valentine's bingo and lunch on February 15th, Wednesday the 15th at noon. Space is limited, so if there is something that you do want to attend, it's going to be sponsored by the same people, the Tower Lodge Care Center, Wellington Estates, and Serenity Hospice. That is something that is on the website, or you can reach out to Barry and Recreation if you want to sign up for that. Basketball for the season is really great. Total of 148 kids signed up for basketball this season. So we have lots of teams for boys and girls, all grades, so that's really good. We have a new registration site if you want to sign up for junior guards or for boat slips, beach lockers, kayak rentals. It's Edmonds, and that's our new site. Our old site was Gov Pilots. We're doing away with that site, so we need to transition to the new one. It should all be linked up to everything on the website. If not, you can ask Barry in Recreation about that. The Friday night concerts for the summer are all set. We're set for, like, I believe, 10 or 11 weeks of bands, which is great. And then the last thing is that they ordered 8 new card tables for game days at Taylor Pavilion. So there's going to be new card tables there, which are Mondays at 12:30 to 3, and they're very, very well attended. So that's it. Pickleball is full, 1 to 3, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And chair yoga is still happening at the Taylor Pavilion Thursday. And that is all my next ADA meeting is actually Thursday this week. And that's it. That's all I have on my report.
Hi. 2 weeks ago, I was sworn in as the mayor's liaison to the library board. The library is working on replacing their windows, which are original and are in need of replacing. They've announced their 2023 summer concert series starting June 1st at 6 p.m. So mark your calendars, it will come, summer will come. And there's information online and on the website. This past Saturday, Mayor Buckafosco and I attended a training orientation for newly elected officials at the League of Municipalities. And on Friday, we attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for Daffodil Consignment Shop on Main Street. I'm currently working on an opportunity to have answers for residents who'd like to apply for the Anchor Tax program. There has been another extension. The deadline is now February 28th. I'll make sure to share with the community once the event is scheduled. We're hoping to have it at the library the first week of February, but I'll let you know when that's to occur. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our first Harbor Commission meeting of the year on January 17th. At that meeting, it was decided that we should revisit some of the rates at the marina, which is why we see Resolution 2023-53 on the agenda today. One of the decisions there was to look at some of the as-is rates that we had at the marina. Now that the marina is at full capacity, we felt we didn't need to offer as big of a discount for some of these slips that were sort of less desirable and more difficult to rent. So we're upping the rate on that with this resolution. In the past, it used to be about 55% of the rate of a wooden dock. We're looking at making it 55% of the rate of the original slip. So it will effectively double the rate for the slip, but it will still be about 50% less than what the full price rate would be. So we're hoping with the fact that we're at capacity, this should actually help us generate a little bit more revenue from those marina slips, and hopefully get to a point where we're not creating more less desirable slips that have to be discounted, and we can eventually make some repairs to those slips and charge full rate for them. Another topic that came up was, and I can't emphasize this enough, Mayor, is the fact that we will need to dredge this marina at some point. It has not happened for a very long time, and if we continue this way, we're just going to continue to have more undesirable slips. So I know we've had some discussions, and those discussions need to continue in terms of finding available funding to be able to do this as on a recurring basis, not just a one and done. So that's my report from the Harbor Commission.
Okay. Well, I I actually attended the Housing Authority meeting as a member of the public at the last meeting, and just to report, they appointed Mary Lynch as the chair and Carolyn Sharrock as the vice chair, and they're waiting for specs for the brick facade. They apparently did well in their inspection, saying they got a score of 85, which is considered standard performance. So that was the Housing Authority. I also have been, at their request, meeting with Jim Sharrock and Lynn Amare on the Shade Tree Commission. They're probably going to be making a little presentation at the next meeting, but I've been asked to ask for volunteers. If anyone would like to be on the Shade Tree Commission, please let me know, or April, because they're down one member, and they do very important work, and they really need someone else to be on that committee. And then finally, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a special meeting of the Tourism Commission tomorrow night at 5:30. And that's all I have. Okay, next would be the public session for the consent agenda.
If anyone would like to comment on one of the resolutions on the consent agenda, please step forward, state your name and address.
Good evening. Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue. Resolution 2023-34. I'd like that pulled from the consent agenda. I don't think there is a resolution 2023-34. I even checked tonight when I came in the door here, the resolutions that are in the yellow folder.
This is for the payment of bills. This is the resolution that we have on every agenda. The bill list is posted on our website, but the resolution doesn't get filled in until after the meeting when the checks are printed. Then I get the information from the finance office to input, but it's just the standard resolution approving the bills that we do every meeting.
Well, I likewise, I did check the borough's website for the bill list, and historically it's been in the online records and municipal code.
It's still there.
No, it isn't. Not unless, actually, there hasn't been any there from about over a month ago.
They're there. If you click on the section that says financials, you gotta scroll down, and they're all there. Because I put this bill list up there this morning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay. Resolution 2023-37, resolution approving Go Play Arcade's amusement game license application. Is this an existing license, or is this a new license?
It's an existing license. We did this about 2 years ago. They switched some of their games over to provide tickets that you can exchange for a prize. So they have to get state approval for that license, and we have to do a resolution authorizing it. So they have to renew it every so often.
Okay, this is a license from the state of New Jersey?
Yes, it's an amusement games license. It allows them to have the tickets in the machines that you can exchange for a prize.
Yeah, okay. this arcade is, I've never been inside the place. But it's directly across the street from the Belmar Elementary School campus. Was the Board of Education, Belmar Board of Education, given any opportunity to look at this? The reason I'm asking that is I do remember when there was spot zoning done in town here. In fact, that is the only location up by Main Street that an arcade is a permitted use. And at the time, the Board of Education maintains that they had never gotten a notice, and they were concerned about it. Is there any rush on this that we can't ask the Board of Education as to whether they have any concerns about this place?
I mean, I don't know if there's a rush on it. The only thing is it's been there for how many years? I'm not sure. So they had plenty of opportunity to comment about it. I don't know why they would want to comment at this point. It's not a new facility. It's not a new license. So I don't know, why they wouldn't have come to, either the council or the mayor or the prior, administrator and say they wanted to have some input on that. I don't know,
Yeah, I
council,
think,
if that's something we need to consider.
no, I don't know how the arcade came to be, but it did come to be. And it's been there for a couple of years, like you say, maybe more now, I don't know. The time to challenge its existence was when it was created. And there are certain timelines that you have to make that challenge. Certainly the Board of Ed saw it across the street. Even if they didn't know of approvals, they would have known that it was there because they could see it, and then they would have time to make a challenge. No challenge ever came. I don't know why, I don't know any of the facts. This is just the law and the procedure, so there's nothing to be done at this point. And the license that they're looking for is necessary, but it doesn't create the use that it is. There's a commission, April, I can't remember the name of it.
Legalized games of chance.
Yeah, that's it. And they actually control arcades. They control bingo and raffles otherwise, but they control arcades. Strange enough. But so that's the license that they're looking for. It's actually a state license, and then it comes to us to ratify it in a sense. So what you're talking about is, why is it there? I don't know how it came to be there, but the time to challenge its existence was years ago. And there's nothing we really can do now through this license to change any of that.
Well, I guess I'm asking the question, what you're saying is that the borough has to approve this?
Well, essentially, the answer is, the borough has certain standards that are set by the statute, and it's like a liquor license, but less strenuous. So it really goes to the applicant's good standing, whether they've been convicted of crimes or something like that. But it's not other than that, it's not a discretionary act by the borough. If those people qualify, which I assume they do, then the license has to be issued. Yes, they have a right to it at that point if they qualify under the statute.
It's kind of interesting. There must be a reason that the state is regulating something other than collecting fees. And I'm just, the location of it, across the street from an elementary school. I'm sure other towns, you know, would say that, you know, that's an inappropriate place to have such a facility or something going on.
And that's what I get back to, that's the whole zoning question that occurred years ago. So, but that's what I mean by when the Board of Ed could see it there, if they didn't like it there, they could have taken action at that time. But like everything, there are time limits to act. They're outside of their time to act. So, you know, whatever they want to do, they can try to do. I'm not opposed to it. Anybody can do what they like. But, you know, the ship has sailed, so to speak. The time to act is over. And I understand your zoning question. They may have had input or had the ability to have input when it was going on, but it's not now. It's too late.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments on the consent agenda?
Can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda? Motion.
Second?
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosanero?
Yes.
Councilman Levitt?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have any ordinances tonight. Public session. Anyone wishing to make a comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hello, Sharon Mahoney, 800 Main Street. Welcome.
Thank you.
We enjoy seeing you up there. I have a couple things, and these are kind of carryovers from last year. I feel that there were a lot of things that we, asked for, addressed, whatever, at these council meetings that were never followed up on. So I'd like to know if someone's going to be tasked with those items. Somebody brings it up and they say, oh, we'll get to it, and then it was never gotten to. It was forgotten. It was pushed in a drawer. So is there someone on the council that's going to be tasked with actually, kind of making sure that, okay, we did address this, and, either follow up with that person or follow up at the next meeting saying, here's what we did on that? Is that something that's in the works or that you've talked about? Anyone? Can
Well,
answer?
I normally will follow up. The borough administrator and the clerk, we've had work as a team when we put together the agenda and when we, know that things have to be done. So between the three of us, I would say that that's your team that's going to follow up on items that come out of the meetings.
Okay, and what do you feel is going to be that method of communication for following up on those? Is it going to be an email? Is it going to be something posted on the website? I think we're looking for more, looking for more transparency to addressing the items that are brought up in these council meetings.
For me, if it can be done, I would like to do that during the work session, because I also have to update the council members. Because as you know, we can't meet in private. So, if we want to have a discussion for all of us here, we have to do that here. So that definitely would be one way that we would follow up on things. If it's the type of thing which could be, a post on the website, then that would be appropriate. If it's a specific question that somebody had, it might be an email, it could be, an announcement at the meeting. It depends on what you're following up on.
Okay. All right, and then now onto a couple more things. So number one regards to social media. Things like the Anchor program, like I know you post on social media, it would be great to have that stuff posted on social media. Well, it's on Instagram. Like I'm only on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook, so if you're doing it on one, you should do it on the other, make sure that they're shared. Because somebody who only has a single platform is only going to see what's on that platform. Number two, regarding construction at 9th and Main Street, you're representing the police department, right? Representing.
If I may.
And what is your name?
Excuse me, if I may,
Sorry.
all the comments have to be addressed
Okay,
to me, and then we'll.
gotcha. Okay. So I've had several issues with that, whoever's doing construction there not adhering to ordinances as far as the time. And I'm tired of calling the police about it, because I feel like I shouldn't have to be the one to do that. From working on a holiday, okay, I understand they can work on the inside but not on the outside, Sundays and holidays. Police drive by, they don't do anything. They see them working, they're making noise, but, because I saw a police drive by and they're not doing anything, so I have to call, it's wasting their time. But I feel like we shouldn't have to do that when there's different workers, different GCs there, whoever's managing the job, as things change, different, managers come on board, they're all not being passed the same information to say, here's what the rules are. Here's what you can't start work until, let's say, 8 a.m. construction on the outside. I know it's 7 a.m. I think for some things, maybe on the inside. Sundays and holidays, nothing on the outside. You can't do it on the inside. That's what from the ordinances, that's what I read, right? So, how can that be addressed?
Now I'll turn.
Okay.
Yeah, calling's the easiest way. I understand what you're saying, but if we're driving by, we may be going somewhere else, and if we don't know what time it started, and we're driving by 10 minutes later, unfortunately, you're gonna have to call, and we can check into it. There's gonna be certain guidelines and, restrictions that might be eased on certain projects too. They're not all black and white, unfortunately.
But New Year's Day, all day long. And finally, I went over there, and after I looked it up, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And finally said, you guys can't. They looked at me like I was,
Yeah, we'll always have a contact for that certain,
Yeah.
construction project too, so, unfortunately, they're all different. But when they're not, we can, check into them, and we call it the easiest way, unfortunately.
okay. Number 2, the corner of Main Street and 8th Avenue. So this started being addressed a few years ago about getting walk signals at that intersection, getting the striped lanes on the west side of Main Street. What is happening with that? I know it's a DOT issue because 71 turns there and all that, but I feel like it's been sitting on the sidelines for too long.
It actually has. I remember being at a meeting
Yeah.
probably about 2 years ago where it was said that the state was contacted, because that's a state road, so
Right.
that would have to be done by them. And actually, it was one of the things I was going to discuss with Mr. Kane very shortly to see if we could follow up and get some pressure on the state to put that in.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, I drive by there all the time, and it's horrendous.
Yeah, if I sit outside, I just watch the mayhem. It's you don't know who's turning left. You sit over here coming east. It's very.
And that'll be one of the things that hopefully we can follow up here with if we get an answer or something. So we'll make that announcement at a future meeting if we find out any more information on it.
All right, thank you. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? Comments?
Tom Volker, 527 8th Avenue, Belmar. And thank you for being willing to serve, all of you. It's a wonderful thing. You're looking out for us residents, especially the seniors. I know you may not think it, but I'm a senior. Number one, I was concerned about the senior building and what's been reported about that. I'm really happy to hear, Jerry, that you were at the meeting already and, acquainting yourself. I just hope there's somebody on the commission that's got the checklist with timing and is following that and I don't want to say yelling, but making advice, letting people know when it's not up to snuff. And this is more a question that I have. I had heard previously that there are some rooms that can't have an air conditioner in the window because it's the only means of egress other than a door. Has anything been done for those poor people that can't have an air conditioner? I've seen air conditioners built into walls. I know it's expensive, but I just wanted to talk about it.
I mean, that would be something we would have to bring up at the next meeting. Unfortunately, none of the council people are actually on the housing committee because there were no vacancies to put. So, Councilwoman Rondinero is going to be attending those meetings, and, you know, I may attend a few myself. So we would have to ask as members of the public what the options are if we cannot put air conditioners, you know, in the window. And we'll do that at the next meeting.
I'll make sure to bring that up, Tom, thank you.
And there are certain things that look really atrocious, like outlets hanging outside of the wall and actually dangerous. That's what I had heard on the different sites. So that's good. You know,
We'll try to follow up as best as
yeah,
we can.
I appreciate it. The other thing was there was talk that the previous, or the police chief had indicated that they were looking into some of these speed detection signs. Not so much signs, but you've seen them. They're on the top of a pole, and they generate electricity from the sun. I just wondered how that's going, and I haven't seen any installed yet.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I'd have to punt that one to our administrator, and I know we've had talks with the chief, but I'm not sure that actual issue has come up yet.
Okay, by the way, the noise situation seems to be, currently is being handled well, I think. It hasn't been as bad on our street as it had been. So whatever's happening there, if you can give us an update at some point, because several towns are now complaining about noise. I just saw where Manhattan is discussing it. And it may as well get ahead of it, because it's not summer, it's winter, so.
Right.
But I do want to congratulate the police department for what's been done so far.
Well, thank you on your behalf. Anyone else? I'd like to make a comment. Please state your name and address.
Claire Hayner, 18th and B. Just one quick question.
Yeah.
Back in November, I entered a contest sponsored by Tap into Belmar for receipts throughout town to win the beach badges, and they said it was going to be the winners were going to be announced at this meeting. Is there anything that you know of?
We were advised that will happen at the next meeting.
At the next meeting, it took them that long to count
It
up
wasn't our,
the votes?
doing.
Okay.
It was the sponsors doing.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, they said they would like to do it at the next meeting.
Okay. I haven't seen any publicity on it since then, so I'm kind of wondering what's going on. I mean, we busted our butts collecting receipts, so.
Hopefully you'll see it on the next agenda.
I want to see that email.
Presentation.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Comments? Please step up to the microphone. State your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. Katrina Platsis, B Street. I just want to kind of ask you guys about a word on the street rumor that I'd like to be clarified so that way it's out in the open. And that your party chair and campaign manager, John Walsh, has been hired by the borough. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay, and could you tell me what his job is?
He's the confidential secretary to the mayor.
And what is that?
It's a position, you know what a secretary is, I presume, but he basically works at my direction and could vary from day to day, from week to week, but he will be assisting me in my mayoral duties and also in my duties as the Director of Special Operations, which you'll note on the agenda in the resolutions that I have appointed myself to, without pay, obviously.
Right. Okay, and can I ask his salary and benefit package?
He gets the benefits that any other employee gets, and his salary is $55,000 per year.
And was this job advertised anywhere?
No.
Or was it just something that you took to decide for yourself to do, like you just said?
It was an appointment that I made.
Okay. Okay, great. And then there was a notification on the website about a code enforcement job. Is that job still available? And it's not on the website anymore, and that's why.
That was put up prematurely.
Okay, do we not need a code enforcement person?
We still are working on that.
Okay, the need of or getting one?
The need.
The need, okay. And on that note, I would like to ask somebody if somebody could get over to 13th Street, 217 13th Street. There's a ton of garbage in the back of it's a rental property, a season rental property, winter rental, and there's a ton of furniture, garbage, whatever, and that happens to be right. I just noticed it the other day, but I know it's been there forever. So if somebody could go over there and check that, I'd really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Good evening, Jim McCracken, 200 2nd Avenue, Belmar. At the reorganization meeting, the resolutions were posted very last minute, I believe either on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, so public didn't have an opportunity to really review and digest a lot that was being voted on that day. But I had an opportunity to review some of the New Jersey statutes for the definition of family member, and I won't read the whole definition. It's different in different parts of statute in the state, but a family member does mean a sibling of a spouse of an employee. And I'm just wondering at the reorganization meeting if any of the council members voted to appoint someone who meets the definition of immediate family member to a board or commission or task force or committee or something of the borough.
Can you be more specific?
So would you like me to read the entire definition?
No, I'd like you to state what you're trying to get to.
So I'm asking if any member of the council voted at the reorganization meeting to appoint a family member to any of Belmar's boards, commissions, task force, committee, or any of those types of
I don't know.
any of those types of groups that.
I can only speak for myself. I did not.
Okay. So no one did.
Would you like to answer?
I can answer that. So my sister-in-law was appointed to the library board.
Okay, thank you. And you didn't feel at that time it was necessary to recuse yourself from that vote?
I was not advised to, no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Please step forward.
Hi, I'm Greg Michelina from 1304 Ocean. I just want to say thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to serve and help with this beautiful town. I'm recently retired. I came down here. I've been coming down for about 8 years, but living down here full-time about 2 years. It's a great little town. I like it a lot. It's a little sad to me to come to some of these meetings and see rancor and the obvious rancor. It's the problem with the country these days, in my humble opinion. I don't know what happened to decency and common courtesy and things like that, but I, for one, would like to see more of that. And again, I appreciate all your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else like to make a comment? Seeing none, I move that we close the public session.
Have a second?
Yeah, sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to do the executive session? Okay, so obviously we can't do it in front of everyone, so I will read it. Whereas it has been determined by the Council of the Borough of Belmar that it is necessary to discuss the following specific matter at its regular meeting of January 24th, 2023, in the absence of the public. Discussion regarding litigation, specifically in reference to the order to show cause entitled in the matter of application for recount and recheck of the results of the November 8, 2022 general election for all races in the municipalities of Tinton Falls, Belmar, Fairhaven, and Ocean Township. That order to show cause is under docket MONL-197-23. And whereas the Open Public Meetings Act at NJSA 10:4-12B7 permits the governing body to exclude the public from that portion of the public meeting during which such matters are discussed. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Borough of Belmar as follows. 1, that the governing body shall forthwith recess into private executive session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss the above referenced matter. 2, that the scope of the aforesaid executive session shall be limited to the above matter as stated. 3, that those matters discussed in executive session will remain confidential until such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists as determined by the attorney. 4, the minutes of the closed session shall be taken by the borough clerk and kept free from public review until such time that the need for confidentiality no longer exists as determined by the board attorney. That's a complete reading of the resolution to go into executive session.
Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
Make the motion?
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
So we'll come back to the public meeting just for the purpose of adjourning the meeting, but there won't be any further action.